Hi, I'm Lamarr Townsend. I'm a psychic, a tarot reader, an energy channeler, and an astrologer. And in this video, I will be doing an energy channeling on Rupaul. So thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment and share with your friends and family. Keep in touch with me on my social media, Lamarr Townsend Tarot on Instagram and Facebook. And make sure if you want a personal reading from me, you definitely check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com, to check out all the specials I have at the store section, and everything else I have on my website. So I am available for readings, and I would love to read for you. So in this reading, I will be doing an energy channeling on Rupaul, one of my people I like. Now, Rupaul definitely is not perfect. He definitely has his kind of quirks, especially when it comes to his ideologies about the LGBTQIA community. There's definitely some things about that I don't agree on him with, but it is what it is. Rupaul is growing just like we are, and I just want to see what's around him, what the angels and ancestors and the people in terms of his spirit guides have to say about him. So let's just go ahead and get into the reading. What's around Rupaul? Okay, so as you all know, I like to cleanse the energies of the space, say a quick prayer before I get the reading started. So let's go ahead and say a quick prayer and cleanse the energies so that we can channel the energies around Rupaul. Thank you, Father God, for cleansing and clearing the energy of this space from any past readings. Thank you for making this space quiet enough so that I can get a good channel on Rupaul. Thank you for protecting my energy, my thoughts, my mind, and my emotions. Thank you for protecting the energy, thoughts, minds, and emotions of those watching this video, as well as the spaces of those watching this video, as well as my space. Thank you for opening up the channel so that I can get a good reading on Rupaul and see what's around Rupaul and what the angels, ancestors, and protectors have to relay to us about Rupaul. Thank you for allowing me to be your mouthpiece, Father God, and speaking through me. In Jesus' name I pray. Thank you. Amen, amen, and amen. And remember, if you want a personal reading from me, I am available, and I would love to read for you. Check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. You can also schedule a reading with me. I'm trying to get comfortable here. You can also schedule a reading with me via Schedule City on my website as well, alright? I don't know why I get the sense that Rupaul likes to really drive. I don't know if he likes to necessarily drive or if he likes to ride. I feel like Rupaul is the type of person when he's riding in the car and he's riding passenger seat, because does Rupaul actually drive? Because, I feel like he can drive, but I see him liking to sit in the passenger seat. You know how some people just kind of like to look out the window and see everything going on outside? I feel like RuPaul's that type of person where he's very interested in life, but like the idiosyncrasies of life. Like, oh, what's that person doing over there? And it's interesting because I see him looking at like people as he's driving or sitting in traffic, and he's like kind of coming up with like his own scenario about what their life is about and who they are and why they're doing what they're doing, why they're wearing what they're wearing. He's like a natural storyteller in his head, but I'm also thinking he has something about, like, there's something about ADHD or something like that, where I feel like he kind of has trouble focusing or finishing or seeing things all the way through. So I feel like RuPaul's the type of person where he'll start something, but he has kind of trouble finishing it, or he gets bored really easily as well, I pick up. So I think, I was talking about a friend the other day, and someone told me he's a Scorpio, so I find that very interesting. I don't know why I pick up Sagittarius energy or like Gemini energy with him too as well. Very interesting. But he's a quick learner as well. I'm hearing quick learner, so I feel like he's a very quick learner. I feel like that's how he became so successful, because he learned, I'm hearing he learned from the best, he learned from the greats. Which makes sense to me because I think, for example, one of his idols is Diana Ross. And, when it comes to Diana Ross, I think he's actually worked with her, and she's one of the greats, for example. But I'm also seeing something about Lady Bunny and people like this. I also wouldn't be surprised if he's learned a lot from Michelle Visage, actually, as well. And there's something where it's interesting. We see RuPaul as a very confident person, and especially when he's in drag, he gives us life, honey. He's so gorgeous when he's in drag and out of drag, right? But there's something about RuPaul where out of drag, he feels a little bit lost. And I say that, and I don't necessarily mean like, RuPaul is lost, like who is RuPaul? It's like RuPaul himself within himself, when he's out of drag, feels lost. And it's like, I don't know if he's kind of bored by the RuPaul drag persona, or if he's wanting to do different things with the drag persona. And I'm thinking of AJ McQueen. Now, I have not watched that show yet, you all, but I've heard so many good things about it. And I was talking to my friend Sade Taros T. Shout out to Sade Taros T. And she told me actually to do this reading on RuPaul. But I've not watched the show AJ and McQueen, but I've heard so many good things about it, and I don't know. There's something about AJ and McQueen where RuPaul gets to, of course, be in drag, but I'm assuming he's out of drag in that show as well, because there's something about AJ and McQueen where it kind of ties in together his drag persona, but also his persona out of drag. I haven't watched the show. Also, an interesting side note, I thought AJ was a boy the whole time. I was quite surprised to look at her Instagram and see she was a girl, a beautiful little girl, but I thought she really was a boy. Don't know what that's about. I'm going to have to look at the show soon and see what it's about because I've heard good things. But I feel like there's something about RuPaul where he's gotten bored. He has gotten a bit bored just doing drag. Especially as he's aged, there's something where drag at first, the RuPaul drag persona, because he's RuPaul in drag and out of drag. That's who he is. But there's something about the RuPaul out of drag that's the authentic him, but the RuPaul in drag is the authentic him personified times like 10 or 20, right? And I feel like he'll say this to you as well. But he's wanting to not make his legacy just his drag persona. He's wanting to make his legacy the fact that he is a human being, a man behind the drag, and a man with many different complexities. And I feel like there's something about RuPaul, I pick up insecurity. And it's not a bad thing, we're all insecure about something, but there's something about RuPaul where he's insecure. I think the issue with him is that he's insecure out of drag because he knows that people are used to seeing him in drag. So it's like he feels like he can only attract attention when he's in drag, but outside of drag, I think that's the issue. It's like he doesn't get as much attention. And I'm remembering he had some type of show, right, where some type of talk show where he had a test run, if I'm correct. But he was out of drag in the test run, and we've been seeing him out of drag a lot lately. The only time we see him in drag, well, actually no, sometimes we see him outside of drag, even on RuPaul's Drag Race. But there's something where he wants to become more comfortable with himself outside of drag. And what is the quote that he says? The something is something, but the rest is drag. What is that quote he says, you all? I don't know what the quote is, but it's like something, but the rest is drag. Like when you dress up, you're in drag. Like you're exemplifying the best versions or the best version of yourself. But there's something about also where I feel like maybe moving forward we're going to see RuPaul start to preach this message of loving and accepting yourself outside of drag. The self where you're taking off the makeup, you're taking off the eyeshadow and the eyelashes and the wig, and maybe you've got a bald head, maybe you got some alopecia going on underneath there. Maybe, the person underneath the drag isn't, you don't see yourself as so beautiful, but there's something I think RuPaul struggles with this a little bit. It's like, I think over the years he's gone through this kind of transition where it's like in drag he's beautiful, he's gorgeous, he's living his best life, people are living for him, people are praising him when he's in drag. But outside of drag, when he takes the drag off, it's like, is this all who I am? Am I just this glamazon woman? Or, when I take off the drag, am I still able to love myself and see myself as valuable? How do I make myself outside of drag valuable to the public audience? There's something there with RuPaul I'm feeling. And I feel like that's where the issues come from with the LGBTQIA community. And I don't know, I think he's made transphobic comments. He said something about how trans people shouldn't be able to do RuPaul's Drag Race or something like that. He had a whole situation with Gia Gunn, and I think Carmen Carrera can't stand him. But there's something about RuPaul where he struggles with his own identity. That's what the issue is I'm picking up. He struggles with his own identity outside of drag. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of drag queens actually struggle with this issue of struggling with their identity outside of drag, because I think they get so used to the adulation and so used to the money, I'm sure, that comes with being in drag, being dressed up as a woman. It's like, is this what people want from me? But I don't feel that way. I don't feel like necessarily that I'm a woman. So it's almost like RuPaul is like pushing that away from him. Like, I don't want to be a woman. No, trans people cannot be a part of RuPaul's Drag Race. This is not what I want to be. This is not what I want to be a part of my community that I've created. So I think that's where like the whole issue came from with RuPaul's Drag Race. Doesn't excuse it, but this is the energy I'm picking up, right? I'm just doing my job, right? Very, very interesting. Of course I don't think I've ever read on RuPaul. So this is a very, very interesting perspective on RuPaul. Very, very interesting. I actually feel like RuPaul is, like, he's made the bulk of his I want to say net worth, or his riches, his wealth, in the early 90s. I feel like the early 90s was like his kind of peak, but he's still kind of peaking, I feel like. My cat is probably doing something out there where I'm gonna pop his little tail. But, he likes to crawl on the cabinets, so he's probably doing that right now. There's something about RuPaul where I feel like he's kind of... I want to say RuPaul is kind of having like a midlife crisis, actually. I had to make sure my cat didn't break anything. I think he's just hungry, so I gave him some food. I'm going to have to clean his litter box after I do this reading, so I'm such a good dad, right? A cat daddy. Anyway. There's something about RuPaul where I think he's having a midlife crisis, and there's something about these new queens coming in, who are drag queens and stuff like that, where I feel like there's something about this day and age that's a lot different from when RuPaul first started. And I feel like there's a lot of things I actually feel like RuPaul wish he could do differently if he could go back in time. But once again, you know, RuPaul, if you're going to end up watching this video, I feel like, you know, in your own defense, it was a different time back then when you were coming up. A lot of things that are accepted now were not accepted back then in the early 80s or early 90s, right? So I think RuPaul's kind of actually really hard on himself. I feel like there's something where sometimes he says certain stuff and it comes from a place of being a little bit ignorant, not being so cognizant or not being so aware of this new day and age. I think sometimes he can be stuck in that mentality of the past. But at the same time, he realizes how much has changed actually from then and now. So I think he has this kind of dichotomy between so much has changed and I feel like I'm behind the times kind of thing. So I feel like there's something about RuPaul where I think he's literally having a midlife crisis where he's seeing time pass by. He's seeing people in his life pass away. And it's like, what have I been doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? Like, he's questioning a lot of things right now, I feel like. Especially, and I'm just going to talk because this is my job, this is my YouTube channel, this is what I do. I feel like there's something about RuPaul where he's questioning his marriage as well. And actually questioning whether or not his partner really loves him. I think even in terms of back then, and maybe even in the early 2000s, early 2010s, there was something where an open relationship was kind of more acceptable, but as we age and we get more into the 2020s, right, I think we're actually going to see more monogamous relationships, more married people who, in terms of the LGBTQIA spectrum, right, married people in that spectrum who are strictly monogamous, who are not open. And it's like, RuPaul's kind of looking at his relationship and it's like, does this person really love me? Because I think, I could be wrong, I could be in a legend, I could be in a conspiracy. I think RuPaul and his marriage, they have an open relationship. Because I'm looking at the energy, and I'm single, so shade me all you want to. Alright, I know I'm going to get a boyfriend soon, honey. So it is what it is, and we're going to be strictly monogamous, okay? But no shade to RuPaul. I love you, RuPaul. Oh, you're my queen, honey. But there's something about RuPaul where I'm looking at the energy of their relationship. And I think, you know, it's cute, it's cuddly, I think they have moments together. But I'm looking at the energy and I'm looking at RuPaul and I'm looking at his husband and I feel like his husband's back is sometimes actually turned away from RuPaul and turned towards someone else. Not sure what that's about, but I feel like sometimes RuPaul has to kind of suck it down. kind of shut it out and say, okay, this is just what it is. This is how our relationship works. This is the new age we live in. But it's not the new age we live in, RuPaul. It's not the new age we live in. Oh, gosh. Oh, okay. Has RuPaul's mom passed away? Because I do pick up that energy, and I feel like if RuPaul's mom has passed away, he's really kind of reeling from that. He's really been hurt by the loss of his mom. If his mom is passed away, or if his mom is still alive, there's something about his mom where she's clearly on the decline, and she's declined a lot from what he used to know. Like she's not the if she's still alive, she's not the mom that he's used to. She's the mom now where she may be bedridden or something like that, or she may have, maybe, God forbid, dementia or something like that, where it's like RuPaul kind of has to help her and remind her of who she is and where she comes from, kind of thing. And I feel like this is what is actually aiding to RuPaul's midlife crisis, kind of thing. So I feel like within 3 years, I get the number 3, I feel like within 3 years we're going to see a complete 180 or a complete change in RuPaul, where I feel like he's going to become a lot more spiritual. Because I think there's also something he's going to go through within these next 3 years. So I don't know if his mom is still alive, or if she's going to pass away soon, or if there's someone close to him that passes away within the next 3 years. But I feel like, excuse me, that coffee I drank earlier is coming up, honey. No shade, no tea. Excuse me, sorry for the nastiness, but I feel like within the next 3 years, RuPaul is going to become a lot more sure of himself in drag and outside of drag. And I feel like RuPaul's kind of lost his way a little bit. I feel like he's been on autopilot for the last 4 or 5 years. But I feel like within 3 years, we're going to see some type of resurgence of the RuPaul that we saw in the 90s, where he was a trailblazer for the culture. And not just for the LGBTQIA culture, for the heterosexual culture as well. Alright? There's something where RuPaul has kind of lost his way a bit. And lost his way in the sense of who he is and who he was. But I feel like there's something where RuPaul is going to find himself again within the next 3 years. I could be wrong. I could be an alleged. I could be a conspiracy. But I don't know why I just picked up. He could take a step away from RuPaul's Drag Race, actually. Not saying that RuPaul's Drag Race is going to end anytime soon, because I see it going on and on and on and on. But I feel like RuPaul may actually take a step away from RuPaul's Drag Race and may let another queen judge or something like that, be like the main queen of the show kind of thing, or something like that. Because I feel like RuPaul is wanting to do other things. I actually kind of feel like RuPaul is a little bit bored with Drag Race too. I feel like he's seen a lot of queens come and go when it comes to Drag Race, and it's just kind of like, what am I doing with my life? These queens are booking gigs here and there, and they're doing movies and TV shows, and I'm just sitting here judging. Like, I'm bored. I feel like that's how RuPaul is at this moment. I actually see makeup coming out for RuPaul soon, so I know he had a MAC makeup line way back in the 90s, but I actually feel like RuPaul could come out with his own line of makeup soon, or could collaborate with a makeup brand or a makeup artist sometime soon. Wouldn't be surprised if that's coming out soon. I do see more seasons of AJ McQueen coming out, because I see him probably shooting episodes as we speak, honestly, but I also see that he's working on other shows and other projects as well. In drag and outside of drag. Alright? I don't know why I always pick up RuPaul having some type of, like, video game. So I don't know if Drag Race is going to become some type of video game, or if he's going to allow his likeness to be used for a video game or something like that. I'm not sure, but I see him being associated with a video game. It could be that he's already been in a video game before. But it's interesting. I see RuPaul coming out with his own shoes, honey, with his own clothing. I don't know why I feel like he could come out with clothing for children as well. Like, I see him working with children. But I really feel like we're going to see a resurgence of RuPaul within the next 3 years. I feel like it's almost like literally like a replica of the 90s where he came out with work, turn to the left, work, now turn to the right, work, Shantae, Sashay, or something like that, right? Sashay, Shantae, you better work, now turn to the left, work. That is my song, y'all. I love that song. But I feel like he's always coming out with music, but I feel like he may actually come out with a song that is like kind of like a top 20 hit at the least, kind of thing. So I'm actually really excited for Rupaul and what he has up his sleeve coming up. I'm not really excited about him maybe possibly taking a step away from RuPaul's Drag Race. I hope if he does, he puts at least an entertaining queen in his place, honey. But it may be something where he kind of, it's like they interchange queens. So like it may be one queen this week judging this week, another queen just judging next week kind of thing. Something like that. But that's what I see for RuPaul. Thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like this video, comment and share with your friends and family. Keep in touch with me on my social media, Lamarr Townsend Tarot on Instagram and Facebook. I don't know why I'm laughing. I feel so giggly right now. Make sure you also, if you want a personal reading, check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. I am available for readings and I would love to read for you, okay? And yeah, I'll see you for your own personal reading or I'll see you in the next video. Either way, I'll see you soon. I'm going to blow my nose. I'm going to do the rest of my laundry. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go upload this video. And I'm going to go do some personal readings, alright? I love you all. And I'm going to go work, turn to the left, work, now turn to the right, work. Yes, RuPaul. You better work, now turn to the left.